Alice Black, she feels no shame, and forsooth is she to blame. If we were her, we'd do the same. Alice Black, she feels no shame.
Good day, Mistress Blagg. Before we start, I must thank you for having used your influence to help me resolve my recent difficulties.
Say nothing of it. Those doctors and their College of Physicians. Naught but a band of piss-pot sniffing bullies, so they are. Besides, I needed you out of prison so that you might read the stars for me.
I see. And what would you have me advise you on?
What know you of Richard Bancroft, the Bishop of London?
Not much, in truth. But I did attend the Easter service at St. Paul's. I found the bishop's sermon on the virtues of chastity and abstinence most compelling. Why, you know him well?
Not very well as yet. I was seated beside him at an Episcopal dinner Saturday last. We discoursed a while. Bishop Bancroft is a most charming man. But there was a moment when we did both reach for the brandy decanter. Our eyes met, and I felt something.
'Twas a spark between you and the bishop? You felt a certain frisson in the air?
Nay, I felt a certain hand up my skirts, more like.
His Grace put his hand up your skirts! Madam, may I say how—
Save your congratulations, Foreman. The bishop's not in the bag yet. Hence why I am come to you. Now that I have piqued his interest, I would have the stars tell me how to secure it.
Then you wish to pursue an amorous affair with Bishop Bancroft. But what of your husband, Dean Blagg?
Oh, do not speak to me of my husband. Thomas Blagg is not fit to secure his wife's future. He is not fit for many of his marital duties, truth be told. But you did warn me of Blagg's financial ruin, and for that I am grateful.
Forsooth, I am glad I was able to be of service to you, Mistress Blagg.
Speaking of such, let us press on with this day's readings, if you please.
Of course. Let us consult the stars. How may Mistress Blagg secure the lasting affections of Richard Bancroft, the Bishop of London? Madam, has it not occurred to you that by your present course you are endangering the Blagg family legacy? Surely you would not wish to make a cuckold of your husband and have him raise another man's child? The stars tell me that your instincts as a good Christian woman do urge you to abandon these adulterous plans of yours.
The stars verily say all that, do they?
I am afeard so. Now, if I may digress a little, I did recently acquire a bottle of French brandy that I've been meaning to try, and I wondered if—
Nay, I will not tarry with you this even, Mr. Foreman, for my instincts as a good Christian woman do urge me to tell you to prithee shove that bottle up your fundament.
Lancelot more, lovely his passion, lacking in mind, fulsome in fashion, the one white time's chart, he yet persists in chasing the start.
Good day, sir, and well met. Oh, pray tell, did you secure the hand of the golden-haired maiden?
Yea, verily I did, though 'tis no thanks to you, foreman. For when I told the maid's father of her uncle's designs upon her person, it set the household all a-rage. The mother even called me a fat-brained shade-lobber. It was only when I told them not to speak so ill to a man whose income is £1,000 a year that the family was silenced. The father then declared that a coin is still a coin, no matter it be in the purse of a beef-witted sock-nozzler, and promised me his daughter's hand in marriage. I was made the happiest of men.
Then I must congratulate you on your forthcoming nuptials. Will you be having a summer wedding, or...?
Congratulate me? Do not congratulate me, foreman, for I am the unhappiest of men. It was but a day after our engagement was announced that my love became afflicted with the smallpox. Naturally, I was all a terror. Would she perish? So wretched was I with fear, I almost died of fright.
Aye, naturally. Smallpox is a most terrible disease. I intend to write a small treatise on the subject.
But then, alas! Fate struck the cruelest of blows upon my soul.
Oh, verily. Poor girl. May she rest in peace. Or re-squeeze in pace, as we Latin scholars say.
What? Nay, death would have been a mercy. For once cured, the maid arose from her sickbed bearing hideous scars. Her once fair cheeks, thus so cratered, to make the very moon wane with envy.
I see. And now you wish to extract yourself from your engagement, I presume.
Naturally. But her brother and father are fearsome men with a taste for rough sport, and her mother's tongue is as sharp as a barber's blade. I worry that my breach of promise may be taken ill.
Then let me see if I may fathom the family's reaction from the stars. What will become of breaking your engagement to this once fair, now pox-scarred maid? The stars suggest you have much to fear from this family. Aye, you must flee England at once. For according to my precise calculations, based on the current alignment of the planets, let me see now. Yes, you will be branded a cock-born, snatch-grabbing knave of the lowest order, who deserves to be disemboweled with a pudding spoon. That is, if I'm not mistaken. And not even God is on your side, for it is his plan that you may be dragged into a foggy-headed confusion so as to render you defenceless against the family's dark intentions. Oh, good sir, you must heed my warning and never show your face in London lest you be set upon most violently.
God's blood! I must flee England's shores and never show my face, you say? But whither shall I go? Hold, I have it. Be it not carnival season in Venice, when citizens do hide their faces behind masks? Oh, and with such style. I thank you, foreman, for you have been most helpful. I must fly at once to my tailor to be measured for the latest Venetian fashions.
Archbishop Whitgift, glory to the Lord in the highest position in the church
Ho! Ho there! Be there anyone at home?
Is it? By the saints, 'tis none other than Archbishop John Whitgift. Your Grace, I am most honoured by this most unexpected visit.
Truly, 'tis most unexpected, as I just so happened to be passing by. Indeed, I was riding by in my carriage when I found myself struck ill. My chaplain did suggest I take rest at the nearest residence, which did so happen to be this small dwelling. Forsooth, these rooms have the look of a physician's consulting chambers. Mayhap you are a doctor? If that be true, then praise be to God for this happy coincidence.
A most fortunate coincidence indeed. I am Simon Foreman, a doctor of astrology and physic. At your service, Your Grace.
Well then, Dr. Dr. Foreman, was it? Perchance you will tell me what ails me. I feel a kind of pain and heaviness in my side, and I know not if this be related, but my skin has of late become most unattractive in appearance.
Pain in the right side of the body and sallowness of the skin?
Her Majesty did remark upon it most wittily the other day at a meeting of the Privy Council. Your face does serve as a warning to us all, Archbishop.
Her Majesty the Queen, verily. A moment, if I may, Your Grace, while I consult the stars. What does cause the suffering of His Grace, the Most Reverend John Whitgift, the Archbishop of Canterbury? You are afflicted with jaundice, Your Grace. Yellow bile has seeped into your skin, causing it to become yellow-hued in appearance.
'Tis the jaundice, is it? I see.
Pray, have a servant boil this pouch of herbs in water. The liquor is to be injected up the fundament once each day. It should draw the collar away from your skin and into your bowels. William!
Excellent. I will have my chaplain see to it. My, who do we have here?
Before you take your leave, Your Grace, I would have my manservant William let blood from your right arm.
Indeed. Very well, then.
Before you depart, Your Grace, perchance I might trouble you with a request of my own?
Good day, sir. My chaplain will settle payment with you anon.
What does it matter if errors he makes? Let others mend all the things Essex breaks. Our Lord has much to gain for the risks he takes. Commoners may pay, but nobles only learn from their mistakes.
Good day, my lord, and well met. Indeed, methinks I have not seen your lordship since last year, afore you set off with Sir Walter Raleigh to capture those Spanish treasure ships.
Ah, yes. Doubtless you heard what became of that expedition. The town criers called it Raleigh and Essex's gold piracy fail, declaring it the biggest balls-up since the English Armada.
Aye, 'twas most ill-mannered of them, if I may remark.
'Tis all Raleigh's fault, of course. For when I revealed that I had gotten our navigational directions from you, he had our men turn the fleet around and sail in the opposite direction. 'Twas his navigation that got us lost. Our ships ended up becalmed in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, leaving England undefended. Who is the beef-headed chudlord now, eh, Raleigh?
Well, indeed.
Of course, Raleigh refuses to apologise, and we are no longer on speaking terms.
Alas, 'tis most lamentable you were unable to use the directions I gave you. Well now, how may I assist you this day?
I would have you tell me how I might regain the favour of the Queen. Indeed, 'tis strange she has not yet gotten over her displeasure, for the incident did occur many months ago. and we had every intention of returning her warships, filled to the brim with gold, I might add. Besides, how in the devil's name were we supposed to know the King of Spain would choose that very same month to invade England? I have not the power to predict the future.
Well, nay, but I have, my lord, if you had asked me to.
Verily, 'tis not to be borne. Only last week, at a meeting of the Privy Council, during a minor disagreement regarding the Catholic rebellion in Ireland, she called me an impudent lord-splainer, whereupon she rose from her chair and molly-whopped me in the face. I half drew my sword upon her.
You mean the Queen?
Aye, indeed. Her behaviour was most shocking. I even asked the royal physician whether she may have lost her mind. She is, after all, most elderly. But Mr. Smith assures me she is in very fine health and is in full control of her faculties.
Her Majesty's behaviour is a mystery indeed, although mayhap it should not surprise us. A man's reason is oft insufficient to fathom the workings of the feminine mind, and, in such cases, he may have little choice but to call upon divine wisdom. To wit, let us see what the stars can tell us. What must Lord Devereux do to regain the Queen's favour? To regain the Queen's favour, you must demonstrate your fealty to her, your loyalty as a peer of the realm who sits on her Privy Council. To this end, the stars suggest you offer to lead a military campaign to put down this Catholic rebellion in Ireland. Your lordship is, after all, a great military leader. What better man for such a task than the hero of Cadiz?
Verily, 'tis no ill idea. 'Tis no ill idea at all. Yes, indeed, I shall offer to put down the Irish for her. Forsooth, how difficult could such a mission be? I shall quickly defeat those fen-sucking muck-savages and be back home by Christmas. Huzzah!
Huzzah! Godspeed, my lord.
Disapproves of Mary for her views, they make him sick. But pray he does not tell her, lest she punch him in the punch him in the
Good day, Mistress Payne. How may I help you this day?
Blessed day, Dr. Foreman. I am just come from taking my niece to visit Rochester Cathedral. Thomas Blogg is the cathedral's dean, I believe. Know you of Dean Blogg?
Aye, I know something of him.
Verily, that man is a model to us all. Under his stewardship, the cathedral's decadent furnishings have been stripped away. He has even replaced the silver candlesticks with pewter. Such pious modesty in the sight of God.
Has he indeed? How very interesting. And, godly, yes. But what is it that brings you this day?
Before I begin upon my business, Dr. Foreman, I must commend you for correctly predicting the sinking of the Spanish Armada.
Ah, yes. 'Twas I who did predict the great storm that sunk the Spanish ships, was it not? I have oft thought that careful study of coastal weather patterns may provide...
And we must give thanks to God for the divine vengeance he wrought upon the heretics. I did hear that by morning our beaches were verily littered with the corpses of Spanish sailors. Praise be to the Lord, his glory to behold.
Yes, praise be. But all the same, you seem anxious this day, Mistress Payne. What is troubling you?
Indeed, I am troubled, Dr. Foreman. I fear for the Queen's health. Everyone is saying that as she is exceeding old, she is soon to die.
Ah, yes, I quite understand your feelings, madam. How we love our good Queen Bessie. Long may she reign. But will she? That is the question, is it not? for she cannot live forever, and when at last she does expire, we shall be stricken with such lamentation and grief.
Mayhap you, but not I. Elizabeth Tudor is naught but a sceptred whore, but still a whore who presides over the Church of England and keeps Rome at bay. And without an heir, who knows what manner of foreigner may succeed her when she dies? For all we know, he may flood the land with foul popery.
Foul popery? I take it you do not care for dried floral arrangements. But, madam, surely fresh flowers are more customary at royal funerals.
Did you not heed me, Mr. Foreman? I wish to know whether the English throne is safe from a Catholic successor.
Yes, of course. Then let us consult the stars. Is our Queen's long reign in danger of ending soon? And if so, do we risk a Catholic succeeding her to the throne? The Queen's prognosis is good, madam. God will ensure she remains in health for some years yet, and when at last Her Majesty does expire, whomever succeeds her will happily take his place at the head of the Church of England. I may assure you that England will not revert its allegiance to the Church of Rome.
Praised be! To know that England shall remain safe from Satan's earthly servants is well indeed. Fare you well, and may God give you a blessed day, Dr. Foreman.
Rejoice, rejoice in the Lamb, served by English bishop. To his guests for dinner at his palace in love. Rejoice, rejoice in the Lamb, and beef, and fruit, and swan pie.
Good day, and well met, Lord Archbishop. What a pleasure it is to welcome your Grace once more to my humble consulting chambers. Do you ail of something, sir?
Nay, I am in good health. I am come for information. That is, I am come for an astrological reading concerning one of my deans, Thomas Blagg, the Dean of Rochester Cathedral. I hear you are acquainted with him, are you not?
Yes, so please your Grace. I am honoured to say that Dean Blagg is one of my querents.
I see. What a remarkable coincidence. Then you may know that Dean Blagg has been petitioning me to promote him to the rank of bishop, specifically to grant him the vacant seat of the bishopric of Salisbury. I wonder if you, that is, if the stars and planets and so forth, might tell me if there be any reason why Thomas Blagg might not be a fitting candidate for such a position of responsibility.
I see. Then let us see what the stars can tell us. Should Thomas Blagg, Dean of Rochester, be made the Bishop of Salisbury? The stars urge you to grant the bishopric to Thomas Blagg, your grace.
Oh, indeed.
Aye, for it seems that as Dean of Rochester Cathedral, he has proved himself to be a competent and frugal manager of church funds. Indeed, I have heard he furnishes the cathedral very sparsely, so concerned is he not to waste the church's money.
A competent manager, you say? Very good, very good. Then I suppose I shall grant Dean Blagg the bishopric.
Before you leave, your grace, perchance I may broach a small matter of my own. Methinks you have the power to grant medical licenses, do you not? Although I am an experienced physician, you may have heard of my work during the plague of 1592, for instance, I am not technically licensed to practice medicine. It has been causing some administrative troubles of late. I wonder if your grace might condescend to help me by...
You would have me grant you a medical license, would you? I suppose that might be arranged. Leave it with me, and I will have my chaplain look into it.
I thank you heartily, your grace. Your grace is most generous.
Alice Blagg is on the make, mayhap even on the take. Could it be for her family's sake? Seriously give her a break.
God give you good day, Mistress Blagg. Pray tell, what brings you?
I would know whether my lover, Owen Wood, is resolved to leave me something in his will. A small legacy, mayhap. A large one. I do hope he intends to leave me something.
Owen Wood, the Dean of Armagh? He is your lover? I see. And why would you wish to know whether he is leaving you money in his will? Is he gravely ill?
Not presently, but methinks he will be soon, for he has gone to Ireland to join that peacocking mumphead, the Earl of Essex.
I see. He has gone to fight in Robert Devereux's military campaign to put down the Catholic rebels in Ireland. But you are being a little harsh, are you not? 'Tis true he has had some bad luck of late, but the Earl is a fine...
Oh, a swole-headed failson is what his lordship is. 'Twould not surprise me if he read his map upside down and marched his men into a bog to drown. Pray, let us do my reading, if you please.
Certainly. If Owen Wood, the Dean of Armagh, were to die, would Alice Blagg inherit anything from his estate? You are indeed mentioned in Dean Wood's will. Unbeknownst to his wife, he plans to leave you a portion of his fortune. Forsooth, that is what the stars do tell, but if I might offer you my own counsel...
Oh, what an angel of a man! Did I not know it? Dearest Owen, I shall raise a toast to him at the Quiet Bear this even.
Almighty God, shelter thy servant Thomas Blagg. Take him in thy merciful arms, and shake sense into him.
Good dawning, D. Blagg. How may I do you service this day?
I hope you will do me service, Dr. Foreman, for at my last consultation you served me very ill. Indeed, your prediction that Raleigh and Essex would succeed in capturing those Spanish treasure ships did put me in a most lamentable position. I had my tailor fashion me these fine new robes, and now I have not the money to pay him for it.
Then I'm heartily sorry for it, sir. Though your new robes are indeed very fine. Is that a different shade of black, or...?
And I know not how, but my wife Alice has lately learned of our perilous financial situation.
Ah, has she?
Aye, and she has had me petition the Archbishop for a promotion. 'Tis her reckoning that if I were promoted to bishop, the increased living would enable me to settle our debts.
That would seem wise under the circumstances. And was your petition successful?
It was. At least at first. Indeed, His Grace did have me believe he is minded to make me Bishop of Salisbury.
The bishopric of Salisbury. But that is excellent well, is it not?
It would be very well, forsooth. But many months have passed, and the Archbishop gives yet no sign of granting the vacant bishopric to anybody.
I see. And he does not say when the matter may be decided?
Nay, indeed he does not. Whenever I raise the question with His Grace, he says he needs time to consider the various episcopal and doctrinal matters concerning such an appointment. All the while, he has me performing additional duties that I dare not refuse, lest I lose his favour. And Mistress Blagg has sent him pies upon numerous occasions.
And yet the Archbishop is not moved? Oh, he must be a very hard man indeed, for your wife's pies are well renowned for their powers of persuasion. Now, let us see what the stars can tell us. Will Thomas Blagg, Dean of Rochester, be granted the bishopric of Salisbury? pack up your trunks and ready your horses, Dean Blugg. For the stars advise you and your wife to make holiday. Maybe a hunting tour of Essex? In any case, you may celebrate, as you are to be made Bishop of Salisbury, and your fortune is soon to be restored. God himself has seen fit to reward your loyal service to the church.
He has? Blessed day! O Heavenly Father, I give thanks unto thee that thou hast bestowed upon thy servant such honour and such a considerable increase in yearly income.
Lancelot more awestruck by the muse, for his sonnets found there be no excuse. Many do strike and for his verse they damn him to hell.
Good morrow, Mr. Moore. You are returned from Italy, I see.
Aye, and I had the most enlightening experience. My tutors taught me all about those ancient Romans and what-not. Indeed, 'tis a changed man you see before you now, a worldly man of culture and learning. Mayhap you would benefit from taking a tour of Italy yourself, Foreman.
Alas, Mr. Moore, I must remain in London to care for my querents. To wit, what brings you this day?
Well, no sooner did I return to London than I did become acquainted with the most wondrous creature, a lady who has been lately widowed.
Ah, let me just take some notes here. Is this one dark or fair? Auburn with eyes of green, mayhap? I do not believe there's yet been an auburn-haired maid.
Fie, Mr. Foreman. Prithee show more respect for ladies than to view them as mere collections of physical charms. Beauty alone is of nothing to a man such as I. Nay, my heart does belong to a worldly woman of culture and learning, her head almost as striking as the soft hair and radiant eyes that adorn it. Indeed, her gift of understanding is so strong she can listen to my sonnets for hours on end.
She can she? Forsooth, the lady does show great strength of mind indeed. And how might I advise you?
I would have you tell me whether I should marry her, for, as you know, I have offered my troth to ladies in the past, and it has not ended well for me. So, this time I did tell myself, Lancelot, you will proceed with caution. You will know the lady for at least a month before you think of wedding her, and then you'll go directly to Foreman for his counsel.
Then let us consult the stars now. Should Lancelot Moore marry this wondrous and worldly widow? You must not marry this lady, sir. You are a wealthy man, and she has designs upon your fortune that may result in your untimely death.
Ye gods! Verily?
I am afeard so. You must take care not to let your emotions lead you astray.
She seemed so. She told me she... Are you sure? You did not put a planet in the wrong house or what not?
Aye, quite sure.
Oh, well indeed, 'tis most lamentable. Oh, what a waste of such fine eyes. Mayhap Emma has a sister.
Sibyl's not blessed and she tries her best. 'Tis then she does her worst, from being overdressed to poisoning her guests. Ambitions are a curse.
Good day, Mistress Fortescue.
I do hope you may help me, Dr. Foreman, for I am mightily afflicted with fever and pain.
Yes, I see. Your face is a trifle red in colour. When did your troubles begin? At a dinner party, perchance?
Nay, 'twas at a luncheon, the one I gave this day. I sought to play a trick upon my friend, Lady Emma Dyer, and I worry God is punishing me for my japery.
And what manner of jape did you play on your friend at this luncheon of yours? Pray, describe the ruse to me.
Well, I came upon the idea when I took receipt of a trunk full of exotic goods from the New World. Lovely gifts sent home to me by my gallant husband. Know you of my husband, Captain Henry Fortescue? He is a great friend of Sir Walter Raleigh, of course.
I think you have mentioned him once or twice, madam.
The trunk contained a parcel of dried fruits, full red in colour they were, and with them a note of warning. On it was writ that these fruits, if not consumed in moderation, can provoke a hot, pricking fever when ingested.
Ah, yes. I have read of this fruit in the writings of Spanish explorers. Capsicum Icaramba mequema is the botanical name, I believe.
I am well known for serving the most original dishes at my table. Hence my guests were not surprised when I invited them to try my exotic fruit. I served them each a sweet pie containing one of these, capsicum...
Icaramba mequema.
But I made sure Emma received a pie containing the very largest fruit, and I the very smallest one.
I see. You hoped to occasion a fever in your friend while escaping the same fate yourself. And yet this ruse did not succeed, I take it.
Nay, it did not, Dr. Foreman. Most of my guests dared only take one bite of their pies before abandoning them, finding themselves unequal to the challenge. But Emma ate hers all up, as did I. I was sure I would be safe, and that she would turn red and begin to perspire most shamefully, but she remained as cool as a cucumber. But
you, madam?
But I began to feel such pain in my mouth and throat. My face and eyes turned red. Moisture gathered on my brow and bosom, and damp marks appeared on my bodice. I could not conceal it from my guests. 'Twas humiliating.
How distressing for you, madam. Let us now seek a solution to this mystery in the stars. What might explain the querent's affliction? Your trouble is entirely unrelated to the consumption of New World fruits, madam. You suffered naught but an attack of lusty passions.
I beg your pardon, what?
Your husband is oft away at sea, methinks, with Sir Walter Raleigh.
Yes. Yes, he is.
Then 'twould be only natural that your thoughts would wander towards other gentlemen. Or, perchance 'tis your friend, Lady Emma. A rivalry can arouse passions. Indeed, chaste passions betwixt ladies are not unheard of.
On my honour, Dr. Foreman, I know not what you are implying.
Well, actually, madam, I am not implying anything. To imply is to hint at something without saying it explicitly, whereas I am suggesting quite clearly that you are...
Nay, verily, 'tis most unclear to me. I am sorry, Dr. Foreman, but I find I cannot understand you at all. God give ye good even.
Humphrey Bell, who is this coming youth? May dapper, little shy, but pleasing to the eye. His eyes, his hair, his shape, before so has he a sweetheart, pray tell us the truth.
Good morrow, young sir. Methinks this is your first consultation, Mr.
Humphrey Bell, sir.
And how may I do you service this day, Mr. Bell?
I want to get lean in that.
You wish to become lean, you say? And why would you need to be any leaner than you are now? You do not appear at all overplump. Indeed, you appear to be a young man in the full vigour of health.
Yay, but I do the lady parts though, innit?
You do the lady parts. Oh, I see. You are a player who plays feminine roles upon the stage. Yes, I think I recognise you now. You play for Lord Chamberlain's men, do you not? The company of players led by Will Shakespeare, Richard Burbage and Will Kemp, among others.
Aye, sir. I play for them as a hired man, and next month I'm to play a fairy queen in a play we're doing for Lord Hunsdon at his daughter's wedding. But Bossman Burbage says I'm too plump for the role.
Humphrey, your girth does make it difficult for an audience to imagine you getting up out of your fairy throne, let alone flying.
Yes, I think I understand. 'Twould imperil the audience's suspension of disbelief, thus breaking the fourth wall, as you players so call it.
Ah, sir, indeed. Mr. Burbage worries much for them scenery walls, for he says my rear end is of such a size 'tis liable to smash right through 'em. Anyways, Mistress Burbage told me that to fit into her gowns she bids herself chunder after eating. Might you give me some herbs for that or something?
And Mistress Burbage would be Richard Burbage's wife, I presume. Well, to judge what would be most effective in your case, I shall need to consult the stars. What should Mr. Humphrey Bell do to become leaner? Mr. Bell, I will prescribe you something to induce upward purging. It will serve to void your stomach of its contents, and by, you will become leaner. Pray, call by your local apothecary and make purchase of some canis sicco excrementum, or dried dog excrement, as is more commonly known. You are to mix it with water and take it up the nose after each meal.
What do you mean? Like dog doings? Are you playing about or something? You would have me snort flipping dog turd? I will not lie, that sounds well mad.
Mayhap if you were to mix the excrement with a little honey, that can oft help the medicine go down a trifle easier.
No disrespect or nothing, but I ain't doing that, Doctor. Not even to be a fairy queen. Give you good day, sir.
Favoured is Essex and close to the crown. Nobles like him do fare up more than down. His family's too grand to jail, too rich to jail. But if Essex disobeys the Queen, she'll put him in the ground.
Good day, my lord. I must own, your lordship's visit to my chambers does surprise me, for I'd believed, well, indeed all of England believes, that you are in Ireland at present.
Did anyone see me? No? Good. Now bid your manservant close the shutters.
As your lordship pleases. William! William! Pray close the shutters. Yes, all of them. And fetch us some candles.
I pray the counsel you give me this day be wise, sirrah, for I find myself in the most desperate of predicaments.
And the last advice I gave you? That of offering to lead a military campaign to put down the Irish rebellion? I trust it worked to win back the Queen's favour. Indeed, the parade given to send you off was most impressive. I was there. Did you see me? I did wave at you. Nay, I do not imagine you would have seen me. So great were the crowds.
Yes, my offer to lead the campaign was well received by the Queen. But there was a fatal flaw in your advice.
Oh, and this flaw was?
Is it not obvious? I had to verily go to that midge-ridden bog-hole and try to put down the Irish. God's breath! Have you seen the Irish? They are savages! That Irish chieftain O'Neill and his band of fen-born brutes are especially bad.
Forsooth, they sound most fearsome. 'Tis a mercy you escaped with your life, and are now back home safe in England.
Nay, I am not yet safe in England, I fear. For when the Queen finds out that I made a truce with O'Neill, heaven only knows how ill she will take it. Even my leaving Ireland without her permission will doubtless vex her.
Then the Queen has not been informed of your return?
Nay, she knows yet nothing of it. I am at present taking refuge with my sister, the Countess of Devonshire, at her country estate. But I cannot hide there forever. Hence I am come to you this day so that the stars may advise me on how I may extract myself from my current predicament and win back the favour of the Queen.
Then let us see what the stars advise. How might Lord Devereux escape the displeasure of Her Majesty the Queen and regain her favour? Your lordship must not give up hope, for though our queen may have the stomach and heart of a king, she has but the body and mind of a weak and feeble woman. Hence the stars suggest you use your manly physical attributes to resolve this affair.
I see. Use my imposing presence and masculine intelligence to overpower her. Show her who is truly sovereign.
Nay, my lord. Quite the reverse. You must appeal to her vanity and captivate her with your bodily charms. Perchance a tighter-fitting doublet would serve to...
God's yardle! You would have me bed the Queen? Doubtless you have never seen Her Majesty at close quarters, Foreman. Elizabeth may be in fine health for an old woman, but she is more advanced in years than my own mother.
I am afeard the stars are most clear on this, my lord.
I see. But how am I to find a moment alone with her? If I make an entrance at court whilst Her Majesty is surrounded by guards and courtiers, I may be arrested on the spot.
Aye, 'twould be most perilous. Hold, I think I have it. My lord, if you were able to insinuate yourself into Whitehall Palace one morning before Her Majesty rises, you could approach the Queen while she is still alone in her bedchamber.
By the saints, 'tis no ill idea. I shall prepare to mount a surprise attack upon the Queen's defences. Huzzah!
Huzzah! Godspeed, my Lord Devereux!
Praise him, praise be to the Lord. The Lord, Archbishop with gift, and thereby made unto us his eternal grace.
Good day, Your Grace, and well met. Might I inquire whether Your Grace has made a decision regarding whether to give Thomas Blagg the bishopric of Salisbury?
Ah, yes, Dean Blagg. I had my chaplain look into what you told me regarding my dean's stewardship of Rochester Cathedral. Methinks you said he was a skilled and competent manager. Did you not? Well, it seems that could not be further from the truth. For not only has Dean Blagg been embezzling coin from the cathedral's accounts, many items of furniture have gone missing.
Oh, indeed?
Of course, I will make nothing of it, as I wish to avoid the scandal. I merely told Dean Blagg that I could not offer him the bishopric due to various episcopal and doctrinal constraints.
Of course. And what problem would Your Grace wish me to address this day?
Oh, 'tis a problem with my other deans. With each passing day there seems to be a new dean at the palace gates, come to petition me for this wretched bishopric of Salisbury. Presently, 'tis Owen Wood, the Dean of Armagh. Since he returned from Ireland, he talks of nothing else.
How tiresome for Your Grace.
Indeed. I have told Owen that I am giving his request careful consideration, but in my experience, this only delays a dean for so long. I do have to grant the occasional bishopric, or else my deans become restless.
Doubtless, Your Grace.
But after what I learned about Dean Blagg, I must take care to exercise caution. Hence, I would have you tell me anything you know, that is, anything the stars reveal, about Owen Wood that would render him unsuitable to perform the role of bishop.
Then let us ask the stars. Is there any reason why the Most Reverend John Whitgift, the Archbishop of Canterbury, should not grant Owen Wood the bishopric of Salisbury? Your Grace, the stars advise you to grant Owen Wood the bishopric, for Dean Wood is a patient, self-regarding man who is not likely to give up his hopes for advancement.
He will not let the matter rest, will he? Then I suppose I must grant him the bishopric, or I shall never hear the end of it.
Very wise, Your Grace. And one more matter, if I may. Has Your Grace yet had the opportunity to consider the granting of my medical license?
Ah, yes, that. Once my chaplain has finished looking into the matter, I shall be giving it careful consideration. Good day.
Since Blagg left Alice in the lurch, for solution she does search. 'Tis true she's the bedded half the church, but Blagg left Alice in the lurch.
Good day, mistress. What brings you?
I am come about my lover who is lately returned from Ireland.
Ah, yea, and your current lover is, as I recall... Ah, yes, your lover at present is Owen Wood, the Reverend Dean of Armagh, is it not?
Aye.
And according to my notes, you were afeard he might die in battle. And yet you do not appear to be much pleased he's returned alive. Whatever is the matter, madam?
Know you why Dean Wood is returned to England? 'Tis because Archbishop Whitgift, who did deny my husband the bishopric of Salisbury, has gone and given it to him instead.
Oh, I am heartily sorry, madam. 'Tis cruel indeed.
Aye, but that is not the end of Owen's treachery. It is being said around the diocese that my lover, Owen Wood, is romantically entangled with 2 other women.
And who might these 2 other women be? Might one of them be his wife, or...?
Of course not. Do not jape with me, Foreman. I did hear that one of the ladies Owen is seeing is Mistress Ways. The other is a certain Anne Hayborn, with whom I am not yet acquainted. I do hear she is a very young and comely maiden, though mayhap a maiden no longer. I prithee, scribble one of those doodles of yours and tell me if this be true.
Madam, if you will but afford me some silence and calm, I will compose one of my doodles, as you so call my mathematically precise astronomical charts, and endeavour to answer your question. To wit, is Owen Wood, the Dean of Armagh, wooing other women? Alas, I am afeard your suspicions are well founded, madam, for the stars do indicate that Dean Wood has been paying court to several other ladies.
Fie! What a maid-fiddling maggot of a man is he! Be I not woman enough for him?
Well, indeed, my chart does seem to suggest that if he does seek intimacies further afield, 'tis owing to...
Pray, go on. 'Tis owing to what?
To a preference for sweet and gentle companionship of a more feminine nature.
Does he indeed? How very interesting. Nay, verily, fie upon Owen Wood. On my honour, he will very likely want some sweet and gentle treatment once I am finished with him.
Godspeed, Mistress Blagg. God give you good evening, your grace.
You would do well not to look so pleased with yourself, sirrah, for your counsel has occasioned me a great deal of trouble.
Trouble, your grace? Would this have anything to do with the stars advising you to grant Owen Wood the bishopric of Salisbury?
Indeed it would, for your counsel very near endangered the reputation of the church. After having promised Owen the bishopric, as you advised, I was obliged to withdraw the appointment on the morning of his ordination, for Dean Wood is now cods deep in scandal. The parish council has received numerous paternity suits, and 'tis said that scores of defiled wenches bethrong the gates of his deanery each morning, clutching suckling babes and demanding recourse. As for young Anne Hayborn, she has had her reputation ruined, and Dean Ways is barely speaking to his wife any more.
On my word, how disgraceful.
Aye, indeed. If only Owen had the sense to exercise more discretion.
Yes, indeed, your grace.
The Bishop of London, for instance, manages his affairs very quietly. I might have been able to look the other way, but in this instance I could not let Owen's indiscretions pass. For a wretched local woman by the name of Mary Payne got wind of the scandal and stirred up a public fuss about it. Oh, the devil take the woman and her bacon-faced husband.
If I might venture an opinion, your grace, mayhap if we were to pay no heed to Mary Payne and her ilk, they would eventually tire of their animus and leave us all be. But is it upon such problems you come this day, or upon some other matter?
I am come about my health. I believe I do ail of something.
Then pray, describe your complaints to me, your grace.
Well, I am afflicted with pain in my back, and at times I find myself hard of breathing. Indeed, I feel I may have phlegm in my chest, and I do bear these odd-looking spots upon my body that will not mend.
If you will permit me to loosen your robes to examine you. Oh, I see. Methinks I have a notion of what ails you. Let me confirm it with a reading of the stars. What troubles Archbishop Whitgift? You have a mattering in the breast, your grace.
Verily? You are sure?
Aye, you must void the corrupted phlegm from your chest. Pray bid your chaplain procure a pot of betony root juice from an apothecary. You are to inhale the juice through your nose. Within a quarter of an hour, a goodly quantity of slimy blue moistness will issue from your mouth. Oh, but worry not, your grace. Your phlegm will only appear blue on account of the colour of the betony root. But if that would alarm you, I could prescribe an alternative method that involves lying under warm sheets and fasting.
Nay, I know the treatments well, for I have been troubled with a mattering in the breast before, and in sooth I fail to see how it could occasion these vexatious swellings I have on my skin. Methinks I will consult with another physician and obtain a second opinion.
Before you leave, your grace, might I inquire again as to the possibility of you granting me a medical license? Your grace did mention you would give it careful consideration.
Ah, yes, indeed I did I not? Have no fear, Dr. Foreman. My chaplain is looking into it. Good day.
Here comes Lord Devereux, ready to fight. Wild-eyed and restless, he's been up all night. He may not know much, but he knows that he's right. Never
Give ye good morrow, my lord. I trust your lordship is well this day.
Well? God's body! Am I likely to be well? I have been languishing under lock and key while all England goes to ruin.
Ah, yes. I did hear something of your arrest. I take it your encounter with the Queen did not go as well as planned.
Of course it did not. Her Majesty the Queen of England awakening to find a man hovering over her bed like a grinning fool, clutching a bunch of flowers in one hand and a box of sweetmeats in the other? God's death! What is in you? What did you think would come of me sneaking into the Queen's bedchamber?
But you were imprisoned in your York House residence, were you not? The fact that you were placed under house arrest and not imprisoned in the Tower surely speaks to the Queen's fondness for you. I trust your time in confinement was not uncomfortable, at least.
Well, yes, my time away from the world and its trifling concerns did, in truth, prove useful. It afforded me time to reflect on larger questions, to take stock of my life and put recent events in perspective.
Ah, I see. And what resolution did this quiet period of sober reflection bring you? A closer relationship with God? Or perchance you are resolved to spend more time with your family?
What? Nay! I said my mind was turned to larger questions. To wit, am I destined for greater things? Am I chosen by God to rule a kingdom? For I must needs act. The realm is under threat from within. For why was I verily imprisoned? Was it merely to punish me for some trifling mistakes I made in Ireland? Nay, 'twas to separate me from the Queen.
Well, I imagine after discovering you in Her Majesty's bedchamber...
Do you not yet see? The Privy Council means to keep me away from Whitehall, lest I see how they have contrived to control and manipulate the Queen since I left for Ireland.
My lord! Are you saying the Queen is weak and no longer in control of her reign?
Aye, indeed. Something must be done about it. Well, man, do not just stand there.
Yes, of course, my lord. Let us see whether the stars may give you your answer. Is Robert Lord Devereux, Earl of Essex, destined to, rule England? My lord, I must urge you to temper your ambitions. The stars warn that if your lordship keeps to your current course, it will lead to death.
Whose death, though? You mean my death? God's underlumps!
And England may not be in so much danger as you imagine. The stars suggest that King James of Scotland will succeed to the English throne when Queen Elizabeth dies. He is, after all, her nearest royal relative.
James Stuart, eh? During my imprisonment, I wrote to him to request his aid, but I never received a reply. Doubtless he is in league with the Privy Council. Nay, verily, a pox on the Scottish king and his pretensions to the throne. He would bring his full coterie of kilted savages down and install them in Whitehall Palace, where he would doubtless have us all eating porridge for supper.
I do hear that porridge is a healthsome...
I appreciate your concern for my own safety, sirrah, but my duty lies with the realm and the safety of its people. If I must die, let it be for the sake of England, for God, Queen, and country.
Almighty God, redeem thy servant Saul's track, for thy eternal grace and mercy is not shed by his wife.
Good day, Dean Blagg. How now, good sir? I see you do ail of something.
I do ail of something, foreman. Forsooth, I fear I am very ill indeed, for I tremble day and night with fever, and my face does itch and prick with pain.
Verily, you do exhibit upon your nose and cheeks a rash of a most remarkable hue.
Before you do this reading for me, foreman, I must have your word that you will not speak of this to my wife, Alice. In truth, I have had her believe that I was set upon by an angry swarm of wasps that have lately been nesting in the north transept of the cathedral.
I do understand. A kind husband would naturally wish to shield his wife from any undue distress.
Ah, yea, that of course. And there be also the small matter of the promise I did make to restore the Blagg family fortune before I died, and thus not leave my wife and children to live in penury when I am gone. If Mistress Blagg were to think that I am gravely ill, it would provoke some awkwardness between us that I would rather wish to avoid.
Ah, I take it then that your finances are also in poor health.
Forsooth they are. And had you warned me that the Archbishop would never grant me the bishopric of Salisbury, perchance I may have acted sooner to recover them.
I see. Well, as to your wife, Alice, be not afeard, sir. We doctors take querent confidentiality most seriously. As Hippocrates did say, testa Apollinum medicum secreta. Among other things. Now, mayhap we proceed to consult the stars on the matter of your condition. With what disease is my querent Thomas Blagg troubled, and how may he be cured? It would seem you are troubled with a severe disease of the skin known as erysipelas. It is quite serious, though you may find some temporary relief from the pain and fever by vigorously purging from your fundament. To induce such a thing, I do advise the consumption of a considerable quantity of prunes, or mayhap rhubarb. Of course, it does depend on the season.
Erysipelas? Prunes? O merciful Lord, if it be thy will that I should die, and if thou hast writ these mortal signs upon the stars, I beseech thee, have thy servant Simon Foreman speak the truth.
Prithee, sir, I had not finished. Oh, my dear friend, I will not lie to you. Your condition is quite advanced. In truth, I fear you must prepare for the worst. If you will not share this grave news with Mistress Blagg, perchance you might speak to her from the safety of, from beyond the grave? That is to say, write her a letter that may be read to her after you're gone. Your loving words, though thus delayed, may provide her comfort in her time of grief and destitution.
God bless you for your candour, sir, as well your wisdom and friendship these last years. I will now go and pray upon what you have told me.
An explorer's wife cannot share his life. She is left alone, she is left alone. Whilst he is at sea, in a way so she. Good at home.
Good day, Mistress Fortescue. How may I help you this day? You seem a little out of breath.
Aye, 'tis but my bodice. My maidservant did lace it far too tightly. Methinks she is a trifle vexed with me. Indeed, the atmosphere in the Fortescue household is exceeding ill at present.
Verily? And why is that?
Someone has been stealing food from the larder in the night. This morning, 3 whole swan pies were missing. Each member of the Fortescue household suspects another.
And whom do you think is the author of these thefts, madam?
Well, I suspect my son Harold, as his fondness for pie is well known. But Harry denies it and has accused our maidservant Gladys. And 'tis true that Gladys has become suspiciously wide about the girth of late. And as for Gladys, well, she is convinced the culprit is our African parrot, Sir Muncelot Grey. But Sir Muncelot has denied the accusation and blames my monkey.
Ah, and who does your monkey blame?
How now, Dr. Foreman? Be not absurd. Monkeys cannot speak.
Ah, yes. Then 'tis fortunate that God can. Speak to us, that is, by way of the stars. Who in the Fortescue household has been sneaking into the larder at night to steal pies? Madam, you may eliminate your son from your inquiries, for according to the stars, you have educated him well, and he knows not to steal pies.
Harry is innocent, is he? Then who has been eating our pies?
I am afeard it is the very last individual you would suspect. An individual who is in this very room with us now.
How now, Dr. Foreman? Surely you would not accuse me?
Oh, nay, not you, madam. 'Tis your monkey. What was his name again?
You mean to say Sir Nanahad has been stealing our pies? Oh, my days! What a naughty monkey!
Quite. He is most naughty indeed, 'twould seem.
I must at once to home go and apologise to Sir Muncelot. I never should have doubted him. God give you good even, Dr. Foreman. You have been a bad boy, have you not, Sir Nanahad? Who's a naughty monkey? Yes, you're the naughty monkey. Yes, you're the naughty monkey.
Good even, Mistress Fortescue.
country belle to play a leading dame. You must pay the price of looking thin and nice. Drink all your fears, cease all your guilt, and shame you be judged, and we accord you blame.
Good even, Mr. Bell. What brings you so late this evening, young sir? Have you come from the playhouse?
Yea, I'm come from playing a duchess in a special performance of Richard II. You know, that play that makes the Queen look bad.
So, Mr. Shakespeare decided to revive his play, did he? I see.
I need you to tell me what to do about my pay. Our seamstress told me she heard Mistress Burbage discoursing how John Crisp is getting paid a full shilling for each performance.
And you feel this is unfair, I take it? I gather Mr. Crisp's pay is greater than yours.
Aye, sir. 'Tis full twice as much coin as they pay me. What I get is barely enough to cover my rent, and my parts are well bigger than his, innit?
And you can fathom no reason for this disparity in pay? He is more experienced, perchance.
What? I've been on the stage since I was a boy, and John's been playing for less than a year. Nay, sir. Mr. Burbage and them other company sharers are paying me less on account of how I'm doing the lady parts.
You mean to say you are being paid less simply because you perform lady roles?
Indeed. John only gets them main parts because he's big and tall, but I'm well better than he is. Critics call my Ophelia the most tantalisingly nubile and tragical performance since Henry Condell's Juliet.
Ah, yes. Having seen Hamlet, I would have to agree with them there. I must own that I, too, found your Ophelia most comely and alluring. Now, let's see what the stars advise. What can be done about you being paid less than players of masculine roles? According to the stars, your employers, the Lord Chamberlain's men, are very wise businessmen.
How do you reckon that? On account of them contriving to pay me less than I deserve?
Precisely so, Mr. Bell. And being so wise, they doubtless deter their hired men from discoursing upon the coin they receive for their labour, perchance to the extent where the men harbour such feelings of shame and suspicion about it, they would more readily show each other their privy parts before they would show their pay.
Aye, 'tis true enough. We oft pull our yardles out when we're jesting about and that. But as for a man's pay, forsooth, 'tis considered most private.
Well, such prudery must end if you and your fellow players are to advance your interests, Mr. Bell. Indeed, methinks that if you were all to begin freely discoursing upon these matters, you will find you are not the only player being paid unjustly. If you do decide to demand more coin from your employers, I advise you to unify with the other hired men and speak as one voice.
Zah! We shall unify and demand them company sharers pay us equal coin for equal playing.
hear ye! Earl of Essex, foiled in Queen kidnap attempt shocker! Biggest treason fail since Babington plot! Hear ye!
Alice Black, she is a wife. 'Tis one way to live a life, oft with misfortune and with strife, especially if you be Black's wife.
Good day, Mistress Blagg. Pray tell, how did things fare with your gentleman friend, Owen Wood, the Dean of Armagh?
Alas, 'tis all over betwixt me and Dean Wood. I did ask him for a small loan, and he was most insulting about it. We have not spoken since. And I think I know why his ardour for me has cooled, for I did lately learn that he has been bedding half the women in the diocese.
Ah, yes. I too did lately hear of this.
So your stars were very wrong to tell me I had nothing to fear from other women vying for Owen Wood's affections. But this day I am come about my husband. Methinks he is ill, yet he pretends he is not.
Ah, pray describe his symptoms to me.
Well, yesterday I did remark that something was amiss when Molly McDoon and I returned from the playhouse. Well, there was a special performance of Richard II at the Globe. Know you of it? Oh, 'tis the play that makes the Queen look bad.
Aye, I know of it.
When I came in the door, there was an awful racket coming from our upstairs rooms. I went to see what the matter was and found my husband tucked up abed, moaning and wailing, and with a monstrous rash all over his face. He told me some nonsense about having been stung by wasps, and that he is merely tired. But I do not believe him.
I see.
I bid you, Foreman, tell me true, for I grow ill with worry. Is it grave? Blagg had better not think of dying on me afore he has paid his debts.
Ah, for as his widow, by law, you would inherit them, would you not? But mayhap there is little to worry about. Let us consult the stars and see. What ails Thomas Blagg, the Dean of Rochester? Alas, I am afeard your husband is ill with a disease known as erysipelas. He is in grave danger. Indeed, his case is advanced and beyond treatment. There is nothing to be done now, but prepare yourself for his death, Mistress Blagg. Madam? Alice? Come, Alice, I will find you a chair.
Nay, I must not tarry. I am meeting Mistress McDoon at the Bear for a quiet one. Good day, Foreman.
But Alice...
Hear ye! Traitor loses head after losing mind. Earl of Essex gets the chop for treason. Hear ye!
If you try to argue with her, you will have no luck. She'll twist and turn your logic till your reason comes unstuck. Chastise Mary who you like, she will not give up. Will not give up.
Well met, Mistress Payne. How fare you this day?
Most well indeed, sir, for I am just come from taking my niece on an outing to Tower Hill. 'Twas to see the execution of the traitor Robert Devereux.
Ah, yes, Lord Devereux. What a tragic end to a promising career.
And such a lovely beheading they gave us. My niece and I very much enjoy the hangings at Tyburn, but a beheading is so much more elegant, is it not? Verily, 'tis a better class of execution, I find, and the royal executioner did go down on Devereux with such skill. A single stroke was all it took to give us the traitor's head.
Aye, 'tis true the royal executioner gives excellent...
But I have no time to tarry here and gossip with you, Dr. Foreman. I am come on a matter of great concern, and you are just the man to help, methinks. For your prediction that Elizabeth's reign would endure was true. Whilst the Queen does have the appearance of being naught but a painted corpse propped up on a throne using artfully placed cushions, she is, in law at least, still alive. Praised be!
Ah, indeed. Praised be. And what is this new matter that concerns you?
'Tis that England is filling up with foreigners. Indeed, 'tis been going on for so many years now that in London 'tis rare to hear anyone discoursing in the English tongue any more. The city is crawling with continentals.
Ah, then I take it you do not enjoy your visits to the City of London.
Oh, nay, I have never been to London. For as I did just say, 'tis crawling with continentals, and Lambeth will soon suffer the same fate if we do not act. Why, only the other day I spied a continental on the high street. A monstrous ogre of a man he was. And as for his face, his eyelashes were so fair he had the appearance of having none at all.
Ah, yes, the Netherlanders. 'Tis true the people of the Netherlands can be fair of hair and tall of stature.
And 'tis surely no coincidence that Lambeth has suffered an increase in crime of late. We do not feel safe, Dr. Foreman. Every night we ladies of Fore Street do shiver in our beds at the thought of these frighteningly large men.
I do not doubt it, madam. Now, let us see whether the stars might allay or confirm your fears. Should the residents of Lambeth be concerned about an influx of continentals? Madam, I may assure you that if there be a rise in criminality, the Continentals are not to blame.
Then who is to blame?
May I suggest the youth of this day? The youth of this day are customarily blamed for social ills, and in this instance it would seem justified, at least according to the stars. As for the Continentals, it appears that elements of their culture and expertise may one day serve to enrich ours. Consider, for example, the additional dining options they have brought with them to England. Indeed, do we English not tire of our dreary custards and dull mutton roasts?
Well, in truth, I am a little partial to their... What are those puffy pancake things with the crisscrosses on them?
Waffles, I believe.
Aye, I will own I am partial to those Netherlander waffles. But pish, Dr. Foreman, you learned men and fancy folk may discourse all you like about having your dinner tables enlivened with foreign cookery, but who is it that suffers when desperate continentals go a-robbing our houses and a-troubling our women? 'Tis us ordinary folk, 'tis who. I will have my husband write to Lambeth Palace and tell the Archbishop we will have no more of these continentals in Lambeth. Blessed day, Dr. Foreman.
Hear ye, hear ye! Dean of Rochester Cathedral dies. New Dean pledges to refurnish empty cathedral. Hear ye!
Countrymen, at ease is our reward, for it is not enough to be by fans adored. For you we sigh, we true and swoon, when we see you entering the room.
Good day, Mr. Bell, and well met. I recall you were hoping for a pay rise. How did that go?
Well, I got a pay rise, innit? I took your advice about banding together with the other hired men and gabbing about how much coin we was getting. Turns out, another one of the lads weren't getting paid enough for his lady parts neither. So, we all refused to do our rehearsals until the boss man fixed it.
Well done, Mr. Bell. I must say I am most proud of you.
But this day, I am come about my skin. She's so clapped, I need twice as much ceruse as normal.
Ah, yes, Venetian ceruse, the white lead and vinegar paste ladies and players use to whiten their faces.
You have to fix it for me, Doctor, for my role in Mr. Shakespeare's new play. I'm to play a lady who disguises herself as a lawyer.
A lady cunningly disguised as a lawyer? Forsooth, how original. But I see not why you need worry over your complexion. Having a sound grasp of Latin and a talent for eloquence are the usual qualifications of a legal advocate, are they not? Is it verily necessary for this lawyer to have beauty as well?
Well, Mr. Burbage seems to think so.
These are enlightened times, and we must have confidence in our audience that they will accept, even welcome, the notion of a lady of learning, as long as she be lovely enough to lie with.
I see. And 'tis true your skin is looking a little less than lovely at present. Let us see if we may find a remedy for it in the stars. What is the matter with Humphrey Bell's face, and what may be done to improve its appearance? You have the melancholy. 'Twould explain the greyness of your skin.
But what about all these scabs, though?
You are imagining them, Mr. Bell. Melancholy does also provoke fancies of the mind.
But it's not just me seeing them, though, innit? Even Bossman says I look clapped. He says if my face ain't fixed, he'll give my part to another player.
Well, doubtless you are imagining that as well. I do oft find that my lady querents have a tendency...
What'd you say that for, though? I ain't no lady. I'm a man. I'll tell you true, and 'tis no when she's imagining or nothing. My face is not lovely enough. I feel sorry, Dr. Foreman, but me thinks I best go see a doctor who can fix up my skin, lest I lose my lady lawyer part, innit?
Mr. Foreman, doubtless I need not explain why you have been brought before the College of Physicians this day. We have been informed that you persist in practicing medicine without a license, in defiance of the law and in spite of previous warnings given you by myself and my distinguished colleagues. How do you answer this charge? Well, what do you have to say for yourself, Sirrah?
I say that I am a good doctor, and that my many years of experience have allowed me to perfect my methods as a true physician.
You would dare speak of your methods, Mr. Foreman? We are informed that you write your patients' names and complaints in a notebook, doubtless all the better to blackmail them with.
Ah, yes, my case books. Indeed, sir, 'tis most useful to be able to remember a querent's history.
Furthermore, you use astrological readings not simply to predict the course of an illness or judge the best time for a treatment, as good medicine teaches us, but you find the cause of the disease in the stars. You refuse to examine your patient's urine for this purpose.
Well, yes,
And you would dare claim that in these past years you have gained medical knowledge and skill from mere experience? Then I invite you to provide proof of it now. You will submit to an examination. Silence! Simon Foreman, you have failed this examination, and thereby have proved yourself unfit to practice medicine. Remove this charlatan, this carnival quack from my sight!
What, again? I demand to speak with my legal counsel. You will regret this!
All his blood has suffered woe. Life has brought a very low. Mayhap there be some solution, though. Read the stars and we shall know.